Okay, I'm gonna do a little tutorial on getting the ceilings in. So I need to be on my level 1 ceiling plan. First off, it's showing what I had done during class, so I'll just move to a different room. Architecture tab, ceiling. We want the 2x2 ACT system over in properties, and we want it to be 9 feet high. So height offset is 9 feet. If it's a room that's bounded or bound by 4 walls and Revit knows that it's, a closed space, it will just pop it in there, okay? Like so. If it's not bound by 4 walls and it confuses Revit, then it won't do that. And what we need to do is sketch a ceiling. So I hit sketch a ceiling. I'm just going to do a rectangle for this room. And then do my green arrow or green check. And then there it is. So this is giving us little slivers that we do not want. So this is, we can do a couple different things here. I'm going to click on the ceiling and then I'm going to use my arrows to move the ceiling. Ideally, this is even with this is even with this. So it's all centered in the room, okay? So this is probably fine. You can measure if you want to. I'm just eyeballing. The closer you get, the more smaller increments Revit will move. So you may need to get in there a little bit to move it. I can also do ceiling, sketch ceiling. Again, it's going to become very confused by the edge of the wall. So I'm going to just go around this room. I'm going to go all the way to that mullion. And again, I do my green check, and there it is. So once we start putting lights in, we may find like this one probably needs to move over so we can put 2 lights centered in the room. So I'm going to move that so there's a tile centered in the room rather than a grid line right here, okay? In the larger spaces, we can have seams. So we talked about during class, we might, maybe I'll put a seam right there and a seam right there. And you might have to play with this a little bit to see exactly what the best thing to do is to get things centered. It actually looks like I could have gone all the way down here. And again, I'm just editing my boundary. This is centered almost. I could just scooch it over a smidge. Oop. Oop. Again, the closer you go, the smaller increments it'll move. And I'm just eyeballing, but you can always measure. So that one's centered. We don't have any little bits. This one looks like it's centered going this way. We may, once we start putting lights in here, we may want to move it 12 inches one way or another so we can get our lights in the location that we want it to be. And then if I sketch a ceiling here, I'm not doing a very good job, but you'll get the idea. This doesn't necessarily have to line up. Okay, so that's part of the reason why you have that seam. So I'm just going to edit this boundary so I can do it better. As long as, and we'll talk about this more when we get into lighting, as long as the lighting kind of makes sense, and again, we want to get this centered because this becomes a bigger space, whatever. We'll talk about it when we get there, but, or we could line this up too, even though there's a seam right here. Oy. I could line that up. But then I have a little sliver, right? So things need to shift a little bit. In this, where am I? In this hallway, we want middle of tile going down the middle of the hallway so we can have the lights right in the middle of the corridor. Same thing right here. Same thing right here. So you're definitely going to have one seam at one of these corners. So pop those in as much as you can, and then get ready to do the lighting when we get to the ceiling plan. Okay, thanks.